Hey folks, how are you? Today I am here to speak with you about reversals. A while ago, I did a series on YouTube called Answers to Your Questions About Tarot. You guys have noticed I have not had a lot of time to get videos up on YouTube, but since I can do it live on Facebook and then put it up on YouTube, I can get a lot done. Now, speaking of getting things done, I just want to let you know I have started shipping books to those who have pre-ordered and crowdfunded Fortune Stellar. The second edition of Fortune Stellar is out. If you go to Amazon, depending on where you are in the world, you may find that it is available to you as we speak in paperback and ebook. I think by Monday or so it should be up, and it is the beginning of January right now. So if you're watching this later, well then just go to Amazon and buy it. By all means, please do. Okay, so here's what we're talking about. We're talking about reversals. Now, we know that a reversal, when you read tarot, if it comes up like this, that's considered an upright card. If it comes up like this, it's considered reversed. Now, we know that there is no rule that says you have to honor reversals, but a lot of us believe that reversals give really good information. So I've written a number of blog posts about reversals and how to do them and my theories on reversals. If you go to my website, christianagodet.com, and just use the search function, you can find everything I've ever written about reversals on my website. And a gentleman did exactly that and texted me some questions. And here's what he had to say. Okay, and this is a quote, first of all, from a blog post that I wrote. The reversal may indicate an opposite, a delay, a lessening of the card's energy, or an increase in the card's energy. The reversal may indicate the client is resistant to the card's energy. And then he says this, I understand the various ways to interpret reversals, but how do you decide in which way the reversal should be read in the moment of the reading? How do you know if it's an opposite, a delay? How do you know? And a lot of it is intuition. It's what you feel in the moment. It's what the card says to you in the moment. That's a lot of it. Some of it may be that over time you develop a relationship with the cards. So for instance, typically, if I see justice reversed, I call it the you got screwed card. So my go-to whenever I see justice reversed is, okay, a person is feeling like they got screwed. We'll have to determine, did they really get screwed or are they just feeling victim-y? We'll have to determine that. But I don't go with justice reversed. I don't say, oh, well, you're resisting justice. I say you're feeling like justice has not been served. Now, that's just my relationship with that card and its reversal. And so you may have some cards where when you see their reversal, you tend to see it a certain way. So part of it is your relationship with the cards, but always, always, always intuition. Because even if you tend to see a card a certain way, 99% of the time, there's going to be that 100th time when the card means something different, and you have to let it mean something different. You have to let it speak to you. Now, I know that goes contrary to this other thing I've seen cropping up in the past few years, which is be consistent in your understanding and interpretation of the cards. I've actually seen that. The idea that you set the card to mean a particular thing, and it should always mean that thing. No, not with tarot. No, no, no. In my opinion, if that works for you, fine. But in my opinion, that's like buying a really expensive sports car to sleep in. Don't want to drive it. Don't want to do all the wonderful things it can do. We'll just sleep in the nice leather seats. See what I'm saying? Okay, so there's more. Now, in the blog post that I write and in my thinking about tarot reversals, I speak a lot about dignity, the idea of tarot dignity. And the gentleman goes on to talk to me about the idea of dignity, which he finds confusing. And what I said is this. In tarot, the word dignity or aspect refers to the way context affects interpretation. If a card is well dignified, its strongest and most direct interpretation would be used. If a card is ill dignified, there may be a resistance, a delay, an avoidance, or an opposite. So what does dignity really mean? Well, the idea is that whether or not you honor reversals, we have to understand that the aspect of a card, the dignity of a card changes. How you feel about the card changes. It could be based on your intuition, how you feel about the card in that moment. It could be based on surrounding cards. It could be about how the card comes up in the context of the question. So for instance, I'll give you an example of that. If the question is, what is this person's biggest character flaw? And the card that comes up is the Sun. And we know that the most direct meaning of that card is happiness. I can't really see how happiness would be a character flaw. So the context of the question makes the answer, makes us need to look at the card in an ill-dignified way. So what is another way that we can look at the Sun? What is a less direct way that we can look at the Sun? Well, it might be too much. You know, when we talk about an ill dignity, it could be too much or too little. A person's character flaw might be too much Sun, which could be ego. It could be, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm the brightest light in the room always. And so that would be an example of a card being ill-dignified because of the context of the question. Okay? So when you think about dignity, you have to think about the idea that cards will always have a direct meaning, the most classic meaning, the most direct meaning, the meaning that is your go-to meaning. For instance, Ace of Pentacles. What's your most direct meaning for this card? New job? New money? It tends to be, for me, this could be about your work, this could be about your money. What's a less direct meaning? It could be about health. It could be about the root chakra, certainly. Now, if we see this card ill-dignified, whether it's reversed or not, if we're looking at it and we feel that the dignity isn't there, we feel that it's poorly aspected, then we might say, well, there's not money. You're not getting money. Or you need a new job, or you need to take better care of your health. So dignity is the most direct meaning of the card. If it's ill-dignified, you're going for an opposite. You're going for a resistance. You're going for too much, too little. Something's a little bit different. It's that energy, but it's a little bit off. If you honor reversals, reversals is a good way to denote dignity because it's clear, dignified, not dignified, but you still, whether or not you honor reversals, you still have to look for dignity in other ways, based on the question, based on the surrounding cards. For instance, if I get the Ten of Pentacles, which tends to be a very happy card most of the time, but it's surrounded by the Three of Swords, it's surrounded by the Nine of Swords, it's surrounded by the Tower, it's got all of these cards around it that don't seem so happy. Well, what then? What then? Then, even if we're not looking at reversals, even if it's not reversed, we have to consider that it's ill-dignified, and we will interpret that Ten of Pentacles in a way that might not be its most direct meaning. So, play with that, try it on. It does involve intuition. It also involves studying the cards and thinking about what's its most direct meaning, what are some indirect meanings, and always, always, always looking at context. I want to thank you so much. If you have questions about tarot, it looks like I'm doing this again, so feel free to reach out on social media, send me an email, whatever. I'll be happy to answer as soon as I have time. And do check out my book, Fortune Stellar. And if you are looking for tarot mentorship, if you are looking for a great reading, please reach out to me. Thanks so much.